Bigotry is never acceptable, except if you are a right-wing ethnic minority or indeed religious minority or LGBTQ. If you are gay and black, well, you must be self-hating or confused, or a Labour MP like Rupert Huck will say that you're not really black. Gay and right-wing, you're a self-hating transphobe. Or if you're a Hindu and right-wing and you don't believe in open borders, The Guardian will draw a caricature of you of a cow, which is a sacred animal in the Hindu faith. Now, I believe that bigotry and discrimination are unacceptable, but it's very clear from information that I found out at the Conservative Party conference earlier on this week that that is not the opinion of many on the left. Far from it. In fact, I was told many stories about Conservative Party members who were discriminated against in Manchester just for being Conservatives. I heard a story about a young gay man who was ambushed at 3 o'clock in the morning by a group of 5. He was told that he was Tory scum and that he should go and F himself. Thanks for that, Angela Rayner. I was told about a group of gay Conservatives who were out in the gay village, who were enjoying a drink, quietly getting on with their own business, and then who were thrown out of the bar just for being Conservatives, though it has been brought to my attention that a drink may have been thrown as the group of people were being thrown out. Some might say, good on them. The simple fact of the matter is, bigotry and discrimination are not acceptable. So why is it that left-wingers want people like me to submit to the woke dogma? I'm not going anywhere, and to those people at home who are from ethnic minority backgrounds, or gay, or from a religious minority who don't submit to the woke dogma, I'm right behind you. To those of you who hate us, we're not going anywhere, we won't shut up, we won't go away, and we'll never be left-wing. Benjamin, you must consort with these types of people quite a lot, who seem to be
terrible people.
You do. You're not one of them yourself. Who seem to be very confused by people like me, who will say things like, Albie, you're a self-hating gay, or Albie, you're an Uncle Tom. Do you ever tell them not to?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't use those words, the latter being racist, in my opinion. But look, frankly, I listened to that monologue and I thought, get over yourself. Actually, I think there is a special place in hell reserved for people from minority groups who pull the ladder up after them. When you have someone who has benefited from the people that fought racism and let this country be welcoming to immigrants, then making other immigrants and racial minorities be on the receiving end of abuse and empowering the racists, I think they're right to be called out. When you have people like you who run the LGBT wing of the Tories and then watch and clap along as the Home Secretary targets and abuses trans people who've got nothing to do with her failed policies in government, I think you are a hypocrite.
Where was the abuse of transgender people?
By mocking and ridiculing them in the way that when Rishi Sunak gets up there and essentially says that trans people don't exist, that is not because it's some great intellectual remark. He did. He said a man is a man and a woman is a woman. Now, what that means is that you can't change.
He didn't say trans women doesn't
He didn't say trans women.
But you know full well the only reason he says that is to appeal to the bigots. Now, that's fine. They're entitled to their views.
To appeal to like people who believe in biological reality.
Yes. Which is the vast majority.
And yet, but that is the argument I'm making, that that's saying that transgender people and people that transgender don't exist.
No,
and
they exist.
Benjamin,
They exist,
I can't take this
transgender.
moral superiority here. I think Albie, maybe he needs to get over himself, but I think he makes a good point. I think he makes a very good point that the left find it very uncomfortable to see minorities not support left-wing ideology. And I think it's a simple case of bullying. They're trying to bully them into some kind of submission or just to at least stay quiet.
But when you have people that support government policies that I consider to be bullying, I think Rishi Sunak bullied transgender people in this country with his speech at party conference. And I don't know how you, as someone who claims to be a trans ally in an LGBT group that you run, can support that.
Well, I'm actually interested in what Darren thinks about bullying, because I think you are possibly one of the most targeted right-wing gay men in social media, in media in general, because of your political views. How do you feel when you are personally targeted and when people like Ben say that you should get over yourself?
Benjamin.
Well, I have asked him to stop tweeting me, but, you know, he does it anyway. And, you know, I've been thrown out of gay bars in Newcastle and told that actually it's because of my view on the trans debate, which my view, putting it plainly and simply, is wear what you want, call yourself whatever you like, but a man is a man and a woman is a woman. You are a trans person, and therefore, you know, your biological sex is immutable and can't be changed. That's my view. It's a pretty simple view, but that gets you thrown out and cast out by the people that accuse us of being bigoted and small-minded and not diverse enough and all the rest of it. But when it comes to inclusion, you people want to narrow down and have a very small and increasingly narrow worldview allowed into establishments that you say are inclusive.
Benjamin, may I just come in here? Because Benjamin, Darren's pitch there of what he believes, is that not quite a liberal view? He says biological sex is immutable, but he doesn't care if someone wants to present themselves as another gender. What's the problem with that?
But he does care, because if you support someone like Suella Braverman, who basically constantly tries to paint transgender people as being a threat to biological women, as being a threat to the social fabric of that country, that is bullying and that is unfair.
But that's a misrepresentation. We've seen biological males exploit gender ideology to get into women's spaces.
Yeah.
Nobody's got an issue with genuine trans women. It's a lot
of people do, and this government empowers those people. And, you know, this policy was that you couldn't have a trans woman in a women's ward. No one had ever complained about that. FOIs
I think
revealed.
the woman who was raped by a transgender woman complained about it.
There have been no cases in 102 NHS trusts. And, of course, someone who is a rapist is the lowest of the low. I don't think every other trans person should live like that. And to come back to Albie's point, you know, when people talk about section of the black community, a disproportionate number go to prison. But if they were to talk about your rights and your quality of life based on people that have done reprehensible things and are also black, that would clearly be racist. Do you not see that these other things, supported by the party you advocate for, behave in a similar way?
Benjamin, the party that I advocate for introduced same-sex marriage. The party that I advocate
Most
for...
Tory MPs voted
the
against
party
same-sex
in Northern
marriage.
Ireland in 2019, where there was a Conservative majority for the policy. The party that I advocate for introduced LGBT relationship and sex education in schools. The party that I advocate for, Benjamin, every time you go to the clinic and pick up your PrEP, which I hope you do, by the way, you can thank Jeremy Hunt and Matt Hancock for that, introducing a strategy which is going to reduce, in fact, eliminate HIV transmissions by 2030. That is what the party I advocate for does.
There you go, actions and not just words. You know,
I mean,
you're so sensitive. People are allowed to have different opinions on things.
Yeah,
I'm not sensitive. I'm willing to stand up to bullies like Suella Braverman.
Up as one of the bloody Teletubbies, but I don't go on about it, do I?
Well, I'm glad you took the joke I gave
Shots
10 minutes ago. But look, I mean, look,
in the flower pot, man.
I don't need those medicines because I don't have a sex life, so it doesn't affect me.
That's enough of that. We don't want to know, do we?